everybody, Chodesh Tov. It's Talia here from the Climbing Tree, and today I have my monthly Hebrew calendar video for you. And today is the month of Adar, and it is Adar 1. This is a leap year, and so we have 2 months of Adar this year, which is awesome. If you're going to have 1 month in the year that you have to have 2 of, Adar is a great one because it is all about joy and happiness, and these are all great things that we should want more of and encourage more of in our life. So I think that that's kind of a good lesson and takeaway to take away from it as well, because there are 2 of these, and so we do want to focus on this happiness and this joy and all of this kind of stuff. And when I was doing all my reading for the month of Adar, I came across these things saying that really our purpose of being on the earth is to experience happiness and joy and to learn through these things. And of course we do learn a lot through sadness and grief and anger and all these more negative emotions, but that Judaism really loves and embraces finding the joy in things and learning through joy and happiness. So I found that really encouraging. I hope that you do too. Before I keep going about the month of Adar though, we should have a look at what my goals were for Shabbat and see how I went with them. Okay, so my Shabbat goals were to continue with my healthy eating plans and strategies that I set in Tibet, and so I've been doing pretty well with that. My friend came over, and she's a naturopath, and she totally helped me with all the different supplements that I was taking, and helped me or did for me really, the schedule of when I should have each of them so they don't conflict with the others and stuff like this. So that was really great. That was a great thing that happened this month, around this goal. And actually with this friend, we also talked a lot about preparing things in bulk and, doing up, just chopping up lots of vegetables, say, at the beginning of a week, so that you have them and so you can just take a bit of time off your meal prep each evening or at lunchtime and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good about that. I wouldn't say I did all these things perfectly, but you guys should know by now, if you've watched even 2 others of these videos, that perfect is not my style. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about that. Happy with that goal and how I've achieved it. Now the other thing I was doing was removing one draining thing from my life, and I decided to have my phone addiction as that draining thing, and I think I did pretty well at that. I'm actually going to do another video where I just talk about all the strategies that I did to give myself some space from my phone, so I wasn't just mindlessly using it all the time, and that went well, so good. And then the other one was adding something nourishing, and I chose either meditation or Torah study. Both actually fit together really well. And I did not do this very well. I really want to tell you that I did really well at it, but I didn't. I did pretty well for the first half of the month, and I mean I did well in splatterings, but it wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough at this. Anyway, that's life, and God willing, I can continue this goal, into this month and really into the future. A lot of these goals are just things I'm hoping to establish as habits and stuff like this, because I want to continue them. Anyway, let's just have a quick talk about Adar. I don't want this to be a super long video for you, and if you want really great information, I will put a few links below. There's lots of videos on YouTube, and there's lots of emails and things like this that you can sign up for that have really great information about the Hebrew months and the different energies and different themes and things like this for the month. So if you want to actually be informed, then please please follow the links that I've got in the description box, because they'll be able to give you more information than me. But I just want to give you a brief thing. I'm really just relaying things that I've read to you. So Adar, as I said before, we are talking about joy and happiness and things like this, and the sages tell us that when Adar comes, our joy is increased. And I find that really heartwarming and very, it's like inspiring for me. After this, I'm going to go do an art journal page, and I'm going to have this: welcome Adar, my joy is increased, or something like this. Oh, that would be a great affirmation. By the way, actually, I do have an Instagram page, Jewish Affirmations. I'll put the link below for that, and if you want to check that out, I try to do a couple of Jewish affirmations a week. So, what else? We're also looking a bit at healing. Healing comes through joy and happiness, so we want to expect more healing in this month of Adar as we have more joy. And then we also want to, we want to just do everything that we can to make more joy happen. So for ourselves, we want to give ourselves opportunity to pray, to meditate, to sing, to dance, to just find the things that make us joyful and do more of those things. And then we also want to take the opportunity to really think about our family or our friends or people like this, and think, what are the things that I know bring them joy, and how can I allow them to have more of this joy in their life? So these are great things to ask ourselves in Adar and to really implement and put into practice. And of course then, if there are things that are in your life that are really not bringing you joy, if they're bringing you stress or disappointment or sadness, and you have the capacity to either eliminate them or to limit them, then you should do that this month. This is a good month to do that. Of course, this month we have Purim, except because we have a leap year, it's not this month, it's next Adar that we have Purim. So in going on with our theme before of giving people opportunities to do stuff, we also want to be giving tzedakah this month, and making sure that when it does come round to Purim next Adar, that we are giving money or food to people who really need it. This is an important part of Purim. And that maybe to our family and friends, that we can give them gifts. And I mean, this doesn't have to be expensive things, and maybe I will do another video about some sustainable gifts that you could give to family and friends. Maybe you want to write a really heartfelt letter. That would be a really beautiful gift to give to someone in your family or to a special friend. So that would be a great thing. 2 words for happiness I want to talk about: simcha, which is when something good happens, maybe you buy a new car, or it's a bar mitzvah or a wedding or something like this, something happens that you are expecting and looking forward to, and it's just a good thing. This is a simcha. And then another word that is for happiness is sasun, and this is something that brings unexpected amazing joy, like if you were going to the shops and you had picked something out that you wanted to buy, you were gonna go buy it, and then when you got there, it was just on this awesome special, and it was just it was $5 instead of $100, and you'd just be what? I'm stoked, this is amazing, and you would just be oh my gosh, is this even real? I'm so surprised. You'd be really unexpected and really joyful, and this is this sasun. And so part of our prayer that we that I'm going to sort of say for this month is praying that I would have more simcha and more sasun this month. So yeah, that's some ideas and some thoughts on Adar, and I want to tell you what my goals will be for this month. The first one will be related to Adar and these themes, which is to do something that brings joy to each member of my family. So I'm going to, after this is finished, I'm going to sit down with my pen and paper, write a list, Luke, Lior, Eliahava, and just really think about what would something that would make this person feel really joyful, write it down, and then I'm going to use my phone, get my calendar, put it in my calendar, put it in my diary, what day I'm going to do this thing, or if it might take preparation, actually schedule the time to do this so I know it gets done. So that's something that's one of my goals. I want to make sure that I do that this month. The second thing that I want to do is not really related to Adar, but it's just related to the journey that we're on at the moment and the things that are important to me, things I really want to get a handle on this month. And that is to buy the last things I need to keep Shabbat properly. So this month I really want to get a couple of things, two things that I could live without, but that I would make my life easier. If I had like a warming hot plate, and also if I had, can you hear that? An urn, because I like having cups of tea. So yeah, so I want to have those two things, but the thing that we really need is something for our light switches. Or if we can't work out a way, because we're renting, to put timers on our light switches and fans and aircon and stuff like this, then I want to work out a different solution. By the end of the month, I want to have worked out a solution going forward, what we're going to be doing. And then in part of that, I want to have a few successful Shabbats. And by successful Shabbats, I mean I want to have good food. Last Shabbat, I'll tell you this, I'm a terrible person, I know, but like we sort of ran out of food like for Shabbat, and we had things, but I like hadn't prepared enough food for us to have. I didn't have snacks in the cupboard because I don't know, things had just been crazy with shopping, and I hadn't really got everything that I needed. And so then it was fine, we survived, but it just didn't have that real celebratory feel, or even a particularly nice feel because we just weren't, I wasn't prepared, and I learnt my lesson, thank God, and I will like making, you know, a plan now and a goal, dedicating myself to making sure that doesn't happen again. So that's what I mean by like good food makes a successful Shabbat. Making it relaxing. Last Shabbat was relaxing for me because I read the whole day, but I think for the kids it was less relaxing, and perhaps a little boring. That's okay. I'm not really opposed to children being bored, but we could have like played a game as a family and done stuff like that, and I just sort of kept to myself. So maybe my husband and I can even do like alternate weeks, like, oh, you can have your week to just like read and do whatever, and then, or usually like he goes to shul in the morning and I stay at home with the kids, and maybe we could focus on, I could do games with the kids in that time, and then in the afternoon I could read and he could do some things with the kids or something like that, or they could just do stuff by themselves. And the other thing that makes a successful Shabbat is for it to be all kosher, and by that I mean not flicking switches, not, you know, doing all the things that we shouldn't be doing. So that's difficult, and maybe that's, I don't know, we just finished learning about them this week. We just finished doing the 39 melachot, and we've probably, I think we've did that for 3 or 4 weeks maybe. So I don't know, is that too soon to expect of myself that we will be able to keep this all properly? I at least want to have it as a goal and aim for it, because I think that that's the only way, even if I know, well, I am going to be flicking switches because I haven't organized that yet. Still, I believe that I should be trying to do every other thing perfectly, and then I can get to this last thing and do it. Though it is definitely easy to think, oh, well, I'm not doing this thing, so does it really matter if I do this other thing? Or I made a mistake with my tea and I didn't, you know, to like, I don't know if you do know, to make your tea you have to do it this certain way with containers and blah 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 on Shabbat. If I didn't do that, or I missed one of the containers or something like this, like, should I be bothered, or should I just, I don't know, do something else? Like, should I just water my houseplant, touch my houseplant? I don't know, I'm being a bit silly, but hopefully you can understand that you can kind of get into that idea of just like, well, I already screwed it up with this thing, so maybe it doesn't matter if I screw it up with this other thing, but I really think it does. So I'm trying to do the best I can moving forward. So yeah, they're my goals. 1 is to do something that brings joy to each member of my family, and 2 is to get myself organized for successfully keeping Shabbat and buying the last things I need to make that happen. So hopefully you can hear me and the neighbors doing all the work on their house. The workmen you can't hear them, but if you can, sorry about that ending. And yeah, I'll see you next week with a new